Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how I painted this expressive windswept painting using just one colour. That one colour happens to be my favourite colour of all time. It's Cotman Payne's Grey by Winsor & Newton that splits out beautifully to all different shades of deep soft grey, even to blue in places, as you can see here when plenty of water is used. This demo is part of a more in-depth workshop over on Patreon, where I show another demo using Payne's Grey and talk a bit about the history of the colour and why it's so beautiful, and also why it splits out from black to blue. So if you're interested in that, then please follow the link below. And just before I start the demo, just time for a quick plug for my book, Landscapes in Watercolour, Techniques and Tutorials for the Complete Beginner. It's available to purchase from all good bookstores. There are links for that as well in the description below. And keep an eye out, as our new book that I've written with Morgana, Flowers in Watercolour, is due out very soon. I was sorting out my old brush box and I came across my Harkey brush and this old flat bamboo brush that I used to use. No idea where it came from, so please don't ask, because it was purchased about 5 years ago on eBay. But I decided to feature these large flat brushes in the workshop over on Patreon. So if you're interested in knowing more about the Harkey brush and these flat brushes, then that might be something that you want to watch. So what I've done is wet the page all over. It's Canson Moulin de Roy cold pressed watercolour paper. It's taped to my board with ordinary decorator's masking tape, and my board's at an angle of about 20 degrees. You can see that I'm just working around a few sort of dry patches that happen to be left on the paper when I wet it, with the tips of my Harkey brush and really strong Payne's Grey, almost straight from the tube, very little water, just the water that's in the brush and the water that's on the paper. You can see the paint and water flowing together, and you can also see how dark and rich the Payne's Grey is here. That shows you how much I've used straight from the tube, because the water isn't washing the colour out too much, except where I want it to. So I'll continue painting, just building up some light values, then some darker values, tipping and tilting the board, turning it around and back again until I have a scene, an expressive scene that I'm really happy with. I shall change brushes to use a mop brush, maybe my mottler brush, whatever I think is needed, and then I'll turn to my trusty palette knife and sprinkle a bit of salt in the foreground. But of course, the most important thing to do in a painting like this is to have fun, experiment, and don't worry if things go wrong. Get another piece of paper out and try again. But this is all about learning what these big brushes can do for you, particularly these big flat brushes, and what you can achieve with just one well-chosen colour that you really like. So you can see how this loose winter scene has come along beautifully just through playing around with brushes and paint, trying to focus on the directionality of the brush strokes and the palette knife marks in order to create the impression of a windswept scene. So it's always worth considering, even in your experiments, what happens if you use a particular directionality with your mark making. This is ordinary fine ground table salt. A sprinkle of this, a little scattering of the salt grains, will produce tiny little blooms that will give me the impression of foreground planting around the marks that I scrape through with the palette knife. Now that the painting is completely dry, I've brushed away any salt crystals that didn't dissolve, but you can see I've got some really pretty marks from the salt. I'll remove the tape and see how it looks with a clean white border and try and get a better photograph for you shortly of how the colours have sort of split out from this beautiful Cotman Payne's grey. I don't know any other Payne's grey that splits out from dark grey to light grey and sort of bluish grey, as well as really sort of clean, beautiful blue colour than the Cotman. Cotman is definitely my favourite Payne's grey for these effects. So if you've never tried Cotman Payne's grey, then give it a go. You'll be surprised at how pretty it is. And another really good thing about Cotman Payne's grey, it's a student quality colour, although I think it's really good quality, perfectly archival and lovely to use, but that makes it a lot cheaper than professional artist quality paints. So from that level, it's highly recommended. It's a paint that you can use freely because it's not too expensive. And of course, in this day and age, that's a really important consideration. Well, I hope you enjoyed this demo. Don't forget to hop over to Patreon and maybe consider paying for a month's membership. Just have a look and see what's over there. Plenty of in-depth workshops and advert-free versions of all my YouTube demos. So many thanks for watching. Please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And if you want to support us on Patreon, don't forget to follow the links below. And I'll see you again soon. Take care and happy painting. Bye.